The story begins with a boy named Shinya, who is walking at the night and using his smartphone. Suddenly he sees people running out of a store. Two young girls bumps into him and fall on the ground. Shinya notices a criminal is behind them. He is swinging his knife and wants to kill them. Shinya immediately tries to run from there, but the two girls are scared and not able to run from there. Just then the criminal moves towards them to kill them, but Shinya wants to save them and decides to stop the criminal. So, he rushes towards the criminal and pushes him to the ground. He tells the girls to run away from here. However, the criminal has stabbed him and immediately runs from there. Seeing this, the girls come to check him and start crying. But Shinya is happy to save them, and feels bad that he has made them cry. Later he wakes up and finds himself in a fancy private room. He wonders if this is a hospital, and he remembers that he helped some girls. Just then the maid sees him and calls him Master Cain. Meanwhile, another lady hugs him, asking him if he can recognize his mother. But Shinya is confused because he doesn't know them. Suddenly, he notices his reflection in the mirror and starts freaking out. He can't understand what is going on, where he is, and why they are calling him Master Cain. After some time, he calms down and realizes that he is reincarnated. It is revealed that he was asleep for a week because of fever. His mother feels he must be hungry, and they go to prepare some food for him. Shinya looks at himself in the mirror. He comes to know that he really did not survive, and reincarnated as a child into another world. However, he is excited and decides to check his size. Just then the maid sees him, making him embarrassed. But he gets lots of information from the maid about himself and his family. He finds that his name is Cain, 3 years old. His father name is Garm, and his mother name is Sarah. Also, he has a sister named Rain, who is 2 years older than him. But Sarah is the second wife. The first wife's name is Maria, who has 2 sons. So, Cain is the third son. Garm is a high-ranking noble, who has his own army and protects the Esfort kingdom. He comes to know that there is a forest of monsters, the adventurers, to protect them, and some of them can use magic also. Shinya is excited to know about this all, and he also wants to try using magic. So, he has made up his mind to live out his life here, because in the world he came from, he was an orphan and lived alone. That's why there is nothing for him to miss. Suddenly Shinya has decided to study, so his parents are surprised by this. But his father Garm clears that he cannot leave his estate to him, so he has to make his own success in life. Shinya then decides to read books on magic and the kingdom's history, because he is more interested in magic. But his sister Rain explains that he is not ready for that yet, because he also needs to be baptized like her, and to wait until he turns 5. No one believes that he can use magic, but Shinya starts practicing it in alone. One day his sister almost caught him doing magic, but fortunately she did not see anything. Rain starts teaching him about the 300-year history of the Esfort kingdom, and how its first king started as an adventurer before building the kingdom. 2 years pass and finally it is time for his baptized ceremony. Now he is 5 years old. His parents and sister are very happy because he is looking so cute. Today he sees the outside world first time, and this is the alternate world he dreamed about in his past life, because it has old buildings, soldiers, monsters, and even magic. Meanwhile, he asks his sister what it is like to be bestowed with status magic. Rain then opens her status to show him. He looks at it and sees her magic levels, who can use 3 different elements of magic. His mother reveals that Rain was granted level 2 protection by the god of magic, but Shinya could not understand about protection and level. His father then explains that magic and protection are attainable in levels 1 through 5. So, the higher the level, the higher the user's natural talent. Protection is very handy thing that determines how much magic is needed to activate spell, and it affects skills too. And a god gives protection. Soon they reach the temple, which is dedicated to the worship of 7 pillar gods. Shinya is excited for his baptized ceremony, and his sister hopes he gets lots of protection and magic from the gods. As soon as the ceremony of baptism begins, they hear someone is laughing. The statues start shining and they are amazed to see this. Shinya then opens his eyes and finds himself in the world of the gods, where the 7 gods reside. All 7 gods appear in front of him, who have waited long for this day. They call him by his old name, and he is surprised that the gods themselves show up for a baptism. They introduce themselves one by one, and reveal that his death was unexpected. He was protecting 2 young girls from the criminal, but the criminal was going to trip and fall and be arrested, so he was not even needed. However, he died doing a good deed. That's why the god of earth requested to reincarnate him in this world. They thought nursing and diaper changing would cause too much mental torment for him, so they tried to block his memories, but for some reason he recalled them at age 3. Knowing about it, Cain says that they do not need to apologize, because since his memories came back so quickly, he was able to learn how to write and use magic. And most importantly, he is living with his parents and sister, so he thanks them for leaving his memories with him. Now, every god grants him their protection, magic, and skills. Also, they promise to meet him again. Cain opens his eyes, and his father asks him if he can show them his status, but Cain has a bad feeling about it, so he pretends that his stomach is hurting and runs away from there. He opens his status window and surprised to see this, because he has all kinds of magic and protection with level 10. He wonders what the heck those gods are doing, because he was told that level 5 is the highest level. Now, Cain decides to hide it, because he cannot let anyone see it. Just then he finds that the god of creation has given him a status conceal spell. Knowing about it, he thanks him and hides his true magic levels. During the dinner, everyone celebrates Cain's 5th birthday. His father then asks him if he was able to check his status and tell him to show it. As Cain opens his magic status, everyone gets amazed, because he has the protection of not just the god of creation, but of the 6 other gods too. But Cain forgot to fix his magic power, which was more than 344,000. His father says that even palace mages only have about 10,000, but he is only 4, and even he has item box and judgment too, so Cain can get guaranteed success in anything. However, Rain is very happy to see it, but his father forbids him to show this status to anyone else, because it is very promising, but it could also be seen as a threat to the kingdom. Also, he forbids everyone to talk about it. After some time, Cain comes to his room and finds a book on summoning magic. He wonders if he will be able to summon fluffy animals, because it is his dream. He comes out with this book and starts a summoning ritual. He wanted to summon a fluffy animal, but surprisingly, it is a monster, and Cain gets worried to see it. Meanwhile, Rain and Parma are also there. The monster wants to kill them, but Cain comes in front of them to protect them. He remembers how he protected 2 young girls in his previous life, so he again jumps to kill the monster by using his magic. However, the monster punches him hard and pushes him back, but Cain wants to protect Rain and Parma at any cost. Somehow, he manages to cast his summoning spell and returns the monster where it came from there. Cain falls on the ground and his sister Rain is crying to see him. Cain thinks he has made people cry again, and wonders if he is just going to die again. However, he finds him alive, and Rain and cat girl Parma hug him. Rain thinks he is hurt and decides to call her father, but Cain says that he is fine and feels sorry he scared her. But Rain is glad to see him alive. Cain thinks he made those girls cry that time, but in this world he can help people. During the banquet, Cain introduces himself to everyone. He reveals that he wants to go to all kinds of different places, and most importantly, he wants to protect all of their smiles by becoming an adventurer. By watching his enthusiasm, his father has decided to hire a tutor to teach him. When Cain hears, he is also excited and the maid congratulates him for this. While lying on his bed, he is engrossed in thinking about who would be his master. Maybe he can be orc or a witch. Just then the maid informs him about the arrival of his tutors. He is so excited that he uses teleportation magic from his room's widow. He has no command over it, so he falls on Millie's breast. By considering him a kid, Nina assumes that he jumped on her for feeding. Now, it's time for Cain's embarrassment. Cain introduces himself to his teachers Millie and Nina. In his imagination, he thinks about the sudden attack of the scoundrel that causes reincarnation. Also, the gods who have bestowed him 10-level protection to boom in this world. No one has imagined how powerful he is, because he hides his status from everyone. Knowing that he is from the noble family, Millie is being so formal and hesitates in front of them. She gives her proper introduction that she is an adventurer and belongs to D rank. After that, she tells Nina to introduce herself. Compared to Millie, Nina seems calm, so she says her name. Millie thinks it's inappropriate to be rude in front of the noble. Nina's cap has been removed, and Cain knows she is an elf, but he tells them to be casual, and his father also assigns them to teach him swordsmanship and magic for the next 3 years. Without wasting a minute, they start training him swordsmanship on the ground. To check his ability, Millie tells him to swing his sword. As he is commanded, he swings the sword like a pro. By watching his swings, no one can believe that he is 5 years old. Even Nina shares her perception that Cain is superior to her in swordsmanship. They are bewildered when Cain tells them he has recently gone through the process of baptism. Millie is shocked and has decided to take the mock test. With the wooden swords, they start fighting. The startling thing is that he dodges every attack on Millie easily. By watching his proficiency, Nina inquires about his status. During his fight with Millie, he responds that his father does not allow him to reveal it to outsiders. As Millie has worn out from the sword fight with him, she has given him in the hands of Nina to learn magic. Compared to Millie, Cain looks fresh, as if the sword fight is a bed of roses for him. Nina has decided to teach him the basic, but Cain tells her that he has already known about it through basic, so he has also practiced it. He shows them a water ball, fireball, and rocket bullet that has made holes in the wall. Nina and Millie are shocked that he has used enchanted magic with books. It reveals that he is a genius. Apart from this, Nina and Millie are shocked due to many reasons. Because S-Class is also unable to do this. This magic can only be obtained with intense training, but a 5-year-old kid's command is impossible. Also, he has capability in all elements, and along with swordsmanship, he is blowing their mind. Now, they think that there is nothing that they can teach him. Just then he shows them a towel and appears item box that gives them another shock. When they think there is nothing that can make them startled, just then he appears with surprise. After that, he asks them to take him outside the mansion because they can't perform here training. Tutor also thinks that it's an appropriate suggestion, so they have agreed to take permission from his father. Cain is happy because he is going outside the mansion a second time. When they inquire from his father, then Garm thinks that it's not safe to send his son outside. Tutors can't teach him in the mansion because he is beyond the basic level. They need to give him training at the intermediate level. If Cain has started training there, he can blow up the mansion. By hearing this, Cain's mother is smiling, but Garm is bewildered because he has gone far within 1 day of training. His father knows that his son is extraordinary, but the first day surprise is shocking for him. Now, his father has realized this and has granted them permission with some restrictions. Cain is not permitted to go far or violate the condition imposed by his father. When they moved far from the boundary of the mansion, Nina took the responsibility of teaching him magic. She tells him to perform the intermediate magic. Over excitement, Cain uses fire magic that not only to tumble on the ground. Also, it creates a striking fiery wave that breaks the huge stone. Again, their tutor is in shock because this level of magic is far beyond intermediate. Also, they think that he should be worn out because so much power has been consumed in this magic. But Cain feels freshened as if he has yet to perform tough magic. It discloses that he has unlimited stamina to perform the magic. This 5-year kid is giving them back-to-back jaw-dropper. Then they feel the danger in their surroundings and become cautious. Killer rabbits thrash humans, so tutors are ready to face this beast. But the killer rabbit has crossed them by jumping on them and reaching Cain. Overloaded with power, Cain dodges his invasion and kills him with a single blow of an air bullet. It is Cain's first prey, so he wants to show it to his mother and sister. Therefore, he keeps it in his item box. By watching Mesmerize the magic box, Millie also wishes to have a magic bag. For this purpose, she should have the handsome amount she is collecting. Apart from this, the tutors have decided to continue hunting. So, Nain uses enemies locating magic that give her an answer in a blink of an eye. Their enemies are 300 meters away from them. Now, it's Cain's turn to be curious because he wants to learn to locate the monster's spell. By realizing his magic techniques, he tries to perform this magic. When he creates the thin layer to search for the monster, he has not only locates them, but also he can tell the number of them. Naina is looking at him with an open mouth because few are eligible to do this. Still, they are not capable of performing this magic within 1 day. Now, they have realized that he is not an ordinary kid. With overjoyed, he moves to killer rabbits, who are 4 in numbers. Cain obliterates the first one with his fire element. Nina also kills him with his magic wand, and Millie eliminates the rabbit killer with his sword swing. When Cain is about to deal with the last one, he goes into the hazardous forest. Cain also heads to the forest to deal with him, but the tutors don't allow him to do so. Because of their resides, dangerous monsters and competent adventure are also unable to defeat them. Once in a decade, they come out from this forest and assault them. That's why the surrounding wall of the city is strong enough not to allow the monster to beat it. Also, they encourage Cain to become powerful enough to beat these monsters. When he reaches home, he checks out his status and is shocked because his status has crossed level 8. By killing a few killer rabbits, he has reached level 8, that's astonishing. Just exploring more, he has gotten the reason behind it. Cain has everything in 10 levels. Weather, fire, water, and earth elements are all on 10 levels. By reaching this level, whatever he does, he will get a response more than 100 times. Knowing about this, he has started cursing the gods, because they have inflicted on him a great issue. If states know about it, then they will kill him, because he can be a problem for them. Aside from this, he has decided to concentrate on becoming an adventurer, not thinking about this mess. The following morning, his tutors decide to learn about the monsters from the guild. They have known that Cain can kill the lower animal in just a second, so they come here to take information about the stronger one he can haunt. Adventure Guild receptionist Ruddy tells them about the wolf, but none has seen it till. Ruddy is also happy to meet with cute adventurer Cain, who cannot register his name because he is not grown up enough. A C-rank adventurer appears and interrupts their conversation. Also, he humiliates Millie for tutoring and commands her to pour the drink into his cup. Nina bluntly forbids them to do this because they are on duty. C-rank warrior considers this his insult and holds Nina, but Cain tells him to leave them because he wants to do training. C-rank warrior is also making fun of him, so Cain throws him away with a single slap on his body. He stood up and again started to attack Cain, but Cain dodges his attack with thunder speed and has to teach him a lesson through his little hand and feet. It's shameful for a C-rank warrior to be beaten by a 5-year-old kid, so he holds the sword. C-rank warrior has started an attack on Cain by swinging the sword, but Cain dodges the attack with lightning speed and holds the sword between his fingers, and throws him outside the guild. Cain also gives a warning to the warriors who have held Millie, but they prove stubborn and threaten him to kill Millie with a dagger. They don't know whom they have messed with. To teach them a lesson, he jumps to them and tosses them to his master. By being overwhelmed with emotions, Nina hugs him and promises to protect Cain when danger emerges. After that, they practice hard and enjoy the mouth-watering meal. After the time of 3 years, her maid appears in her room to change his clothes, but Cain has already changed. She informs him that his tutors want to keep the contract. When the maid advises him to prolong the contract, then he forbids it, because he doesn't want them to be tied up with him. Before farewell, he wants to hand over the gift. Then he recalls Millie's fondness for the magic bag. To meet her affection, he moves to the threatening forest. Here he knocks down the blood ogre with his assault of fire. When he returns, he confronts an earth dragon and again takes it down with his fire ability. On the other hand, a warrior watching the explosion assumed that the monster had an outbreak. Cain has to get back to his through teleportation magic. He has informed everyone, and they have run to deal with them. An intense environment has been created for in the city, and praying for the best. When his father reached the army's location, he only found Crater and a handkerchief. His father is watching the handkerchief with an open mouth. It reveals that the monster hasn't attacked them, and Cain has done this. On the following day, Cain kills a pack of a wolf with his air bullet. With this single attack, he has killed this pack. On the other hand, tutors are also sad because they will be apart from him. Then Cain presents the gift that he has made with his hand for the sake of gratitude. These magic bags are made up of a blood ogre and an earth dragon. When tutors listen, then their mouth is wide open, because these monsters are not beaten up with a rank adventurer as well. After this, another shock is ready for them. In these magic bags is a space for keeping an entire mansion. When they listen, they are stunned because this item should be in national treasure. The bag Millie wants has the capacity to keep 2 carriages, but this carriage capacity is beyond their imagination, and this treasure can harm them. He tries to clean out this mess by saying that whenever they will take out the thing, then it will appear in its original size and weight. So, there is nothing that can snatch from them. Now, tutors has realized this is far better than a national treasure. However, they know that Cain is a genius, so they haven't taught him anything. Still, Cain respects their teacher and has learnt many things. The tutor kisses his cheeks, which makes him blush. They also tell him that he can call them whenever he wants. They are ready to help him when he requires them. Now, Cain is fighting with the giant dragon killer, who is 1,000 times bigger than him. Still, he is proving stronger than him, because Cain has penetrated the sword into his body. This single blow has taken the life of the dragon killer in the hands of a cute little boy. He knocks his sword with his nose to ensure the dragon killer has been eliminated. By assuming that his level has boosted up, he checks his status. When the status window appears in front of his eyes widen and he screams with shock. His level has increased to more than 80 million, which is immense because of God, who have bestowed him with 10 levels that are beyond people's expectations. Therefore, he keeps it secret, because if anyone knows about it, then 8 years boy's life can be in danger. After 2 years, when Cain turned 10, they moved to Capital City. Every son who belongs to the noble family must go through this debut. His whole family is with him, and Rain is so excited to take him to school. But he needs to turn 12 before attending that school. On the other hand, Rain, who is older than him, is going to school and promises to grab the number 1 position. Cain inquires when they are going to reach the capital. His father reveals that it will take almost 1 week, and he hopes not to encounter a monster on this journey. Just then Cain uses locating spell to know if there is any warning in their way. After searching, he gets worried and informs his father that dozens of monsters are fighting with 20 soldiers 3 miles away. First of all, his father has startled that he can use locating spell from this far. Second, he orders the guards to move fast because people need their help. Still, Cain believes that they can't reach on time, so he has decided to step forward to help them alone. But his father opposes this idea, because how a 10-year boy can vanquish those dozen monsters? Without listening to his father, Cain comes out from the carriage. He performs a wind magic boost and moves like thunder before the guards. Even guards have realized that it can be just air or bird. His father is worried about him and continuously screaming not to go. Apart from this, Rain has watched her brother's fighting skills. She wishes him the best of luck with crushing those monsters. Scene changes to the monsters, who are standing like humans and tossing the knight to the carriage. The knights are faithful towards Duke, who orders soldiers to take care of the carriage. Also, no matter what happens, they will not allow these beasts to get closer to the carriage. Just then Cain jumps in the fight and starts knocking these monsters down with air cutter skill. But knights are wonders because they are worried about this child who shouldn't participate. Contrarily, they don't know that this handsome 10-year-old kid can chop down all teams of monsters. After using the air cutter and air bullet skills, he has diced up the monsters. Raman at 1 is near the carriage, so he can't perform the magic. He unleashes his sword and takes down 2 little monsters with a single strike. He uses a fire sword attack to eliminate the giant one, and he dies on the spot. As he kills all the monsters, still knights ordered him to get closer to the carriage, because they have a fear that he has an evil purpose in rescuing them. He clears their doubts by introducing himself, and his guards have also arrived. But there is no use because Cain has already dealt with them. They are also shocked that their master how can reach here before them. By watching the knight's miserable condition, he performs the healing magic on them. After curing them, he tells them to have delicious food and rest to meet the production of blood. Cain can only heal them, and the people who are dead are beyond the curing process, so he puts them into his item box. In the meantime, his father has also reached and is shocked to see the dead monsters. Another wonder he also sees when he notices the crest of the carriage. It reveals that this carriage belongs to the house of Duke Santana. Just then the door opens and they come out. After seeing Princess Telestia and Princess Silk, they all sit on their knees for their honor. Telestia's condition is out of order because she has stress, tension, and exhaustion from this beast event. Again, Cain offers his services by calming down their nerves. Within a few seconds, they feel lighter than a flower, and their hearts have become calmer and soother. As soon they have regained consciousness, Telestia moves to Cain and holds his hand to thank him. By pushing her sister aside, Silk has done the same thing. Both are thankful to him for saving their lives. They have seen his iconic moves and amazing swordsmanship from the carriage and are so impressed by him. Both are fighting for each other too, holding his arms and pulling on their side. They inquire from him about where they are going. Knowing he is moving to the capital, they have dragged him to their carriage, because they are also moving ahead for their debut. He calls his father to assist him, but his father can't do anything in front of the Duke's daughters. They have taken him by giving the excuse that they are still scared. Even his father's eyes expand with the shock. In the carriage, Cain has to sit between them. It looks as if he will be crushed between 2 little chicks. Cain wants to sit in the empty seat, but he is not allowed, because these 2 princesses are pretending to be terrified. After that, they compel him to call them Silk and Tellus with love. Cain, who is only 10 years old, how he can dare to call them with love? But he has no choice, so he calls them by their nickname. For the safe side, he doesn't forget to put Madam and Princess with their name. They are getting closer and closer to him, and Cain starts blushing. Luckily, the knight interrupts them and informs them about arriving at the Renoma. They will rest and disembark here, so they need to be prepared for this. All this time, Cain is sophisticated by their closeness and inquires what Knight has seen happen in the carriage. Knight gives him a positive response that turns his cheeks red. While reaching the place to stay, he is relieved and tells them goodbye. Furiously, these girls tell him to stay a night with them, because they are scared enough to death. Just then his father arrives and tells them they are only 10 years old, so it's not appropriate to stick together at night. Still, they persistently stay the night with him because someone can attack them at night. There should be someone to protect them. Further, Cain is the only powerful kid who can face these monsters. Now, his father has permitted him because they are saying right. Even Cain is ready to sleep with them by not tolerating their pressure. But he puts one condition, that their bed should be at a great distance. While going to sleep, Cain is shocked because their beds are not far away. Also, Princess Telestia and Princess Silk are fighting to lay on his side. Consequently, Cain has to again sleep between them. But these princesses are not satisfied with this. They have pulled their beds near him, and Cain's condition worsens. He doesn't know what he should do. He only has become a sandwich between them, and when he opposes them, they start pretending to be scared. The following morning, dark circles appear on the bottom of his eyes. He could not sleep these days, because Princess Telestia and Princess Silk get closer at night. Therefore, it's too difficult for him to sleep. However, the day has arrived that they have reached royal capital. Cain emerges from the carriage, while Princess Telestia and Princess Silk hold his hands. When the vice-captain of the Royal Chivalric Order, Dame Von Gazard, sees that, he is shocked. But the princesses inform him that Cain has saved their life. Dame is also updated by the knights on how 10 years Kid has killed 50 orcs alone. Also, he has healed them. Dame thanks him on behalf of all the knights, and wants to take the responsibility forward. Cain takes out the knights' dead bodies and hands them in his custody. Also, Dame assures him that he will transmit everything to their family and bury these knights in honor. He is obliged to him by impressing Cain, because he has taken their dead bodies. Therefore, they can bury them as they deserve. With overloaded with emissions, Cain also orders him to take care of these knights. Now, he wants to rest, but Dame tells him to meet with the king waiting for him with the audience. Without any other option, Cain moves to the court, where people watch him. They are shocked, because Cain is still a kid, so how he can vanquish those orcs. After reaching there, someone in the court mentions his deeds of killing orcs and saving the princesses. Not only this, he has brought the corpse of dead knights, which is a great task. King is also inspired by him, because his daughter couldn't be survived without him. By doing such deeds, the king has decided to grant him the prize. As a reward, he is given the title of Baron. He is also bestowed with 10 platinum coins in his mansion. When the audience hears that Cain obtained peerage status at the age of 10, then they do not agree with him. So, a person from the audience comes out of them and opposes King's idea. He doesn't think giving the peerage status to such a young boy is appropriate. Even Cain is also still being prepared for this position. But the king, who doesn't want to miss that guy, makes this decision after pondering. Also, he questions this person whether he can kill these orcs or not, then he responds negatively, which explains that he is eligible for this post. The person has to get back to his place without any other questions. After that, King inquires about his wish to accept these rewards. Cain has no option except to say yes to him. While departing, he remembers messaging to meet him in the parlor. In the parlor, his father is also shocked that his son has gained peerage at such a young age. Although Cain is his third son, his abilities transfer him to first place. Just then the king arrives with his son and thanks him for saving their daughters' lives. Cain is getting embarrassed, so he tells him to raise their heads. Also, Cain will do the same thing if any other person is attacked. Still, Silk's father, Eric, thanks him as a father. Now, Cain's father inquires about the reason for granting him the status of peerage, because he is still a child. This status is awarded to those who have no parents, but King has watched his exceptional power and can't miss out on this guy. So, he has decided to link him through this strategy. Everyone has calmed down, but the king has taken out another offer for him that will explode on his head. King tells him to get engaged to his daughters. Everyone's eyes have widened. Even Cain is in shock and doesn't know how to respond. Actually, they have done a meeting on how they should deal with Cain. Magna has suggested that peerage status can increase his link with the royal capital. To strengthen this relationship, they also want to engage one of the daughters with him, but both are ready to engage with him. Therefore, at present, they are pressuring him to get engaged. Also, he has no choice except to accept their offer, because it's a good package for him. Both girls are happy by listening to his approval and remembering the nights that they have spent together. After hearing this, King and Eric get mad, and he has no option except to apologize to them. In the following scene, Rain has an objection to engaging with two girls. Also, his father reprimands him, because the king has told him that his son is a philanderer. Cain is getting uneasy and apologizes for being philandering. He has promised not to do this again. Watch this left video and subscribe to Annie Summary for more anime recaps.